Hi everybody, I'm Akira. The intent for this video is to bring illumination and empowerment into these chaotic times, to bring a sense of harmony and truth, and really provide a sense of hope and faith, to really align ourselves with the truth and the future that we wish to create going through this birth canal process. So I'm going to talk about a lot of things so that we can really look at everything for how it is in truth, and to provide a lot of clarity so that we can make empowered choices as we apply our critical thinking abilities and our intuitive information that we receive. So that being said, this is my perspective of how I've experienced reality and how I've come to understand these times, both past, present, and future, moving forward in this fabric of time and space. So right now we're in the birth canal process of the fourth dimension. So this kind of looks like the battle of good versus evil. Right? It's we always hear about duality, and we're bouncing back and forth in this realm of duality. And the purpose for this is to understand and to see both polarities, to understand what duality is in order to overcome it and go beyond duality into the understanding of spectrality. And we do this really by moving through our karmic lessons and through the healing process in order to liberate ourselves into our empowered sovereignty and what I always refer to as your activated agency, which is your empowered service and truth in how you implement yourself in the times that we're in. So that being said, where do I want to take this? There's a lot of different avenues that we can talk about, and we're going to talk about a lot of them. So right now, you look at the fear propagation, right? You look at all of the things that are being thrown into your face, all the things that are being projected out, and a lot of this is creating so much fear and havoc and chaos. The you see the dysfunctions that propagate the duality, which is all about fear. It's about judgment. It's about lack. It's about takeaway, guilt, shame, disempowerment, and it's this separatist agenda, which is a very important consideration to look at when you look at the movements that are all happening at one time, right? You have all these different movements, all these different agendas, and it's really about looking at the overlying principles that are creating that. What are the tactics being used to create this movement and to try to sway the collective power and the collective belief? And you got to look at, are these tactics being used to create fear? Are they being used to separate humanity? When you look at the collective, our power is in unification. Our power is in individual empowerment. And through the collective individual empowerment, that is how we find our power as a collective. See, the agencies that create all of this fear are creating it using the separatist agenda. They're trying to create these movements that are masked under the guise of a lot of different things, whether it's all of these fear movements, whether it's, there's a lot of infiltration of social justice movements that are all using guilt and shame and separatist, you versus I, you versus them. It's creating this hierarchy. It's creating this shame culture. It's all of it's illusion. It's all the separatist agenda that is distracting you and I and the collective, we the people, from what's really going on. And what's really going on is this. It's really like a battle of free will. It's a battle of belief. It's a battle of collective empowerment. It's about recognizing and remembering why we are here. And we're here to learn and remember our true innate power, individually and collectively. And as a unified people that stand in their purpose and they stand for what they believe in, none of the fear propagation, none of this, apocalyptic, destructive, chaotic times can infiltrate. Because if you stand in your truth, then we unify as a people to implement the change that is required to move forward, creating the new earth. All of these things happening, the coronavirus, the toppling of the economy, martial law, it's all this movement that is designed to create fear that separates people from their individual power, that, it just infiltrates with fogginess. It knocks people off their horse. It creates this, how do I want to put it? It really just comes down to disempowering. It knocks you off your truth. It jumbles up your own innate feeling of how you resonate with truth and the reality in which you desire to create. So moving forward, think about all the things that they use against you. A lot of people are freaking out about martial law. Dude, we don't have stormtroopers. We're not in the Empire. We are on the trajectory and the reality in which we unify as a collective into that fifth dimensional reality that we're already heading towards. It's beyond us all. It's beyond the fourth dimension. It's beyond the agenda that desires the manipulation and enslavement of the human race. This is just a game, and it's playing out in this story. It's like a chessboard, and all these different movements are these chess pieces, and it's just about how you can outwit and get through that game as we project into the future towards that inevitable destiny that we're all heading towards. Now, there's a lot of stuff that's going to happen in between. And it's all about how you want to present yourself, how you want to show up, what you want to feed your power of belief and intent into creating your service to the world. Martial law, we don't have stormtroopers, right? Who's in the National Guard? It's like your cousin. It's like that dude down the street, right? The second that they even get an order that's part of that agenda, talking about FEMA camps or, all the crazy fear propaganda that they want you to believe that your own people are going to use their power against you is just the separatist agenda. When it comes down to it, the guy behind the gun is he's a kid. He wants to be home with his family, right? The police are our family. Yeah, of course there's people who, are abusive of power, but in reality, that's just a small group of people that take a bad name and they put that over everybody. But life is not black and white. You have people who have a lot of personal power, who stand in their truth, who stand for justice, who implement that, who believe. And when it comes down to it, when it comes down to that moment where you have to make a decision, we have to recognize that we have free will. And it's not about the agenda that tries to infiltrate and to utilize our power to further propagate the separatist agenda, right? It's about remembering that we're all here together, that we all have free will. When it comes down to it, if we get an order from some hierarchical system that tells us to do something that we don't believe in, we have to remember that it's our free will and how we decide to create our fate to align with that future destiny. There's a lot of good people on this planet. There's a lot of people waking up. A lot of people in the spiritual community are hopeless. I see a lot of hopelessness. And it all comes down to belief. It's about remembering the power of the majority and remembering that the majority are human and we all have free will. And it's about remembering that we're here together. So the more that we use our time and space and energy to bolster that unification, to not feed into the separatist agenda, but to remember our belief that that person in front of us behind that gun is your brother, is your sister, then you look them in the eyes and they remember, they feel that heart-based knowing that they're my people. What am I doing right now? Where's this order coming from? I don't believe in this. And that's how you can shift an entire movement. And it all starts with one decision in a single moment. You have the power to make that stand. And I've been talking about it since the start, since I started talking about this stuff. You will be faced with these moments where life tests you and you will not have the ability, you will not have the luxury to walk away. You're going to have to make a choice that aligns with two different versions of how this reality can go. And I ask you, I ask you to remember your power of belief, to remember that you have the power of free will to create that moment and to take it into the future in which you desire to live in and create. Are you going to act out of fear? Are you going to act out of terror? Are you going to act from the separatist agenda? Or are you going to remember that we are all in this together and that everything can change by a single sentence that you speak? Everything can change by how you present yourself in that moment. Everything can change by how you serve in the world, in your truth, by acting from your heart, by creating with your mind, and by taking yourself with your people, with our people, us together. We will do this through unification. And it's about remembering the power that we have. All of this agenda, all this fear, it's just in the short term. It's happening right now, and it's a lot. And it's designed to make it feel like a lot because it's getting you to test yourself. Are you going to utilize your critical thinking abilities? Are you going to utilize your connection to your own heart to remember what you need to do in this time, how you need to act, how you need to present yourself? Just remember that we're in this together. There's a lot of talk, and we need to start seeing the walk. We need to start walking our talk, and we need to walk the walk, right? I mean, what else? I could say a lot of things. Remembering your health. Health is not, so many people are afraid of this coronavirus and what it can do. 5G. Who are the people setting up the 5G towers? They're humans. It's your brother. It's your sister, right? They just need to know what they're doing. And you already see it. I see it all the time. I see the doctors are standing up and be like, hey, maybe we should question this 5G thing. Guess what? It can all stop in a single moment. They have momentum to create their agenda, right? The separatist agenda. But it can stop in a moment because that agenda is gaining momentum because people are not aware of what they're creating. And if people awaken to what they're doing and how their decisions are creating this whole momentum moving forward, then they'll stop. They'll align themselves with truth, and I see it every day. There's a lot of fear out there, but I don't see like those news sources because I don't follow the propaganda, the infiltrated media sources. I see that there is a lot of indictments taking down the child trafficking. All the pedophilia rings are coming down, right? I got tipped off of this years ago that the government would shut down because it had to clean house. It had to bring justice back in, right? When people are faced in that moment where they see things that are unjust, it makes them feel just as you and I, because we're all people. We all have the same exact operating system, right? We're all different. We all uniquely diverse, and we all feel what is right and wrong for our own truth. And the fact of the matter is that this whole system is created by people. It all comes back to we're all unified anyway. We just have to remember. And the more that we remember this, the more that this goes our way. And everything can change in a moment. That the destructive 5G can stop in a moment. We just had to remember our own power. The people who are putting up, the people who are implementing that, they just have to stand in their truth because they're standing in front of thousands of people who all remember what is just and what is right and what is harmonious and what is beautiful. We all just have to remember that we're in this together. We have to see beyond these stories that are being played out before our eyes, before our own experiences. We have to look up and see what is creating this. Why is it like this? How is it like this? How does this operate? What can I do? What's the practical application? Remember your power of belief. So many, for thousands, hundreds of years, we've been tricked into forgetting our power of belief. But belief is what gives life to things. So if you believe in unification, and if you stand in unification, and you present yourself with unification, then that is the reality in which you align yourself with. Because both realities exist right now, and it's about which one do you want to go into. And sometimes you just have to take a step because that's what feels right. Hey, maybe you don't really understand those belief thing. You don't really have faith. Maybe you don't even have hope. Just you do it anyway. You just keep moving forward because what else are you going to do? Are you going to sit down and create the apocalypse? You're going to kill your sister next to you because she's got food and you don't? Or are you going to choose to unite and you're going to choose to band together? Together we are strong. Divided we fall apart. And that's the whole agenda. To remembering unification and what that actually looks like. Now is the time that this is the most important part. To remember unification, to embody it, to become it. Remember that community deep down is what we all desire to achieve. We all want to be here. We want to feel seen and loved and nurtured and acknowledged for who we really are. And if we have that, if we create that, then nothing else is going to get in the way. That's what we're all here to do. All of this dysfunction, all of the hurt is just acting out of a place where we don't feel like we belong. We don't feel like we're loved for who we are, right? All that trauma, it's creating all this manifestation of behavioral and thought patterns and emotional patterns that create you to make a decision in a moment that determines which way you're going. And I ask you to remember your truth, to stand into what you believe in. And if you don't know what it is, then take the time. We have a little bit of time to do this. Sometimes you don't have time, and you just got to trust in the universe that you're going to make the right decision. You have to have faith in yourself. You have to believe in yourself. And if we all believe in ourselves, then the collective believes in itself. And then we create the timeline in which we don't have to live in a destructive apocalypse, but we can stop what we're doing and heal ourselves, to create the solutions that already exist, to implement these solutions that already exist, and to create the new earth without this destructive, cataclysmic event of everybody attacking itself and fending whatever. That's not even the reality that I'm going in. But a lot of people think that that is a reality. And I'm letting you know, if you don't already know, that you have the choice and you can choose at any moment to take a stand in what you believe in. Whether you feel by yourself or you feel empowered by a community, sometimes we have to sit there by ourselves and to create the community. We have to stand in our power and let the power of co-resonance ripple out through the people around us. You know, when you make that stand, people around you notice, because that higher frequency of remembering unification is 10 times more powerful than the power of fear. And you can unite people so much faster than you can scare people away. And that's how it works. That's how frequency works. When you look at energy, when you look at frequency, you know, the underlying structure of this entire reality, energy and frequency, and it's all about aligning yourself with truth, which is the most powerful frequency of all. When you align yourself in that, people feel it, and the feeling is visceral, and the feeling creates action, and the feeling changes lives. And you can change lives in a single moment by what you say, or what you do, or how you present yourself, how you stand, what you speak. All of this is going to ripple through the collective and empower everybody. That is what the ultimate goal here is. So I know I talked about a lot of things. I pretty much just ranted, which is what I normally do anyway. You guys just don't see it because my rants are put down succinctly into words through Wordsmith. But well, I hope it was valid, and you feel like you resonate with that truth, because I resonate with it. And I hope you see the validity in believing in yourself and believing in a synergistic, harmonious future. And I ask to just reflect upon your own self and how you're presenting yourself, how you feel. How do you feel right now? Do you feel like you're in fear? Do you feel like you're acting out of lack or fear? Do you feel like your life is threatened? And if you're feeling that, then figure out why. Why do you feel that way? And if you do, reach out to your community, reach into yourself, express it, and express the reality in which you desire to achieve. I desire to achieve a beautiful life in which my kids who haven't been born yet can live on this beautiful planet with your kids, and we can all do this together. That's what I really want, aside from any trauma that I have remaining, outside of any dysfunction. Ultimately, we all want to live in a beautiful world where we feel belonging and we feel loved and we feel nurtured and we can explore freedom. Freedom, that's what it's all about. Freedom of expression, freedom of adventuring, exploration of love, of nature, of reality in all of its beautiful ways. That's what life's really about. Right now, we're just faced with tests, and we have to choose. Is that the reality we want to live in? Or do we want to live in fear? Do we want to live in terror and lack and oppression? You know? So, thank you for listening. I hope you got something out of this. And feel free to reach out to me and express your truth. Follow Agents of Truth on Facebook. That's a collective of amazing activated agents who are all just discussing truth, and it's a free expression page on Facebook. Yeah, I hope you have a wonderful day, and that's it. Ciao.